a report about terrorism. Who do you think are the biggest terrorists on this earth today? Yeah, we're talking about the World Health Organization, we're talking about the UN, we're talking about NATO, CFR, Trilateral Commission. These you're going to find, we've already shown you, they are the biggest terrorists in the world. And they are under the cover of reputable organisations. But there's one thing about liars, there's one thing about their lies. Sooner or later, they do get found out. Now we know about the HAARP, H-A-A-R-P, and I call them the clouds of white death. They are clouds of white death in the sky. Go out every day now and you'll see these clouds of white death over your head. And they back this up with chemtrails. The two of them are causing the clouds of white death. And I'll tell you why. We waited for certain rain to come as a result of their HAARP activity and their chemtrails. Then we tested the water, and you're going to remember a clip which I'm going to show you in a moment or two. But we took that water also to a couple of universities, and with a couple of scientist friends of mine, we got that water tested by none other than the government laboratory. Now we got that paper back, and I can show you a copy of that, and I've got it here in my hand. This is a copy of the water that we got tested by the government, and you're going to get the shock of your life when you see what was in the water that came out of the sky. Come with me on this report, please. You ask the government, what's the chemtrails doing? What's the HAARP activity in the sky doing? And they give you a fob-off answer. They tell you that it's national security or it's classified information. Will you take this information, take this time-lapse film to the Department of Meteorology and see what they identify these clouds at? I'll give you $100 if they give you a truth. Classified or national security, it doesn't matter. They have no right to poison the air we breathe and the water we drink. Have a look at this.
And I've got a gauge here that can measure everything that we need to measure, and we want to measure any parts per million of anything that's of any elements or ions, metal in this water, because it should be free. So let's see. Here it is. You won't believe this. Come on, put the camera on this. You won't believe this. This is 28.9 parts per million. 28.9 parts per million when it should be no more than 1.5.
Heavy metals poison the human body. Chronic fatigue, splitting headaches, upset stomach. The central nervous system is affected, causing spells of dizziness, insomnia, poor concentration abilities, lack of muscular coordination. Now, to compare what is regarded as a safe level for these elements, these minerals, guess where we got the figures from? That's right out of the World Health Organization, their guidelines. In the water that we tested that came out of the sky, it had, with, for example, 780 times was over the safe level of aluminium. And they can tell you there that it causes a wide range of neurological ailments and Alzheimer's disease. Arsenic was found, and it was 593 times over the safe level of arsenic. Remember, this is from water coming out of the sky. This is from rainwater. Look what it causes. Headaches, confusion, sleepiness, convulsions. Arsenic poisoning causes vomiting, diarrhea, kidney, skin cancer, scrotal cancer, liver cancer, cancer of the lymphatic system and lung cancer. And there will be blood in the urine, severe cramping muscles, hair loss, stomach pain, and more convulsions, coma and death. Now, if you suspect that you've been poisoned by it, there is a possibility that you can get it out of your system with sulphur. Sulphur can eliminate some of the arsenic from the body, and that is through onions, beans, legumes and garlic. Now, if you accidentally have ingested arsenic, there's one thing else you can do, and that's 5 charcoal tablets immediately. Take 5 more charcoal tablets every 15 minutes until it has been taken out of your system. The water that we tested that came out of the sky in that rainfall, look at manganese, 4,000 times over the safe level, and that can poison the human body if there is prolonged exposure. But what about the barium? It was 300 times over the safe level, causes anxiety, irregular heartbeat, shortness of breath and weakness in the muscles, chronic fatigue, watery eyes, dry throat, prolonged exposure can cause paralysis and death. The other thing that was in this water was zinc, 8,000 times over the level. Zinc, which is necessary in our diet, but too much zinc begins to act as a poison in the liver, the kidney and the pancreas and causes a wide range of neurological ailments. And when zinc in the blood reaches more than that level, you can see on the screen, when iron. Now, in the water that came out of the sky, tell me, can anybody tell me, did God put iron up in the sky in such a heavy load, 2,000 times over the safe level of what we should ingest? And iron overload is deadly. Too much iron is a factor causing diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, Alzheimer's disease and cancer, and others, including chronic infections, hair loss, as you can see there on the screen, and one thing, behaviour of violence. Now this one really worries me, and this came out of the water in the sky. Boron, 4,000 times over the safe level. And it tells you there about boron's chemistry. But it says also boron is not present in the atmosphere at any significant levels. Well, this fella didn't know what they're doing out of the planes that are spraying chemtrail, did he? Look what it says here. Boron would not be expected to be present to any significant degree as a vapour in the atmosphere. Look at what it tells you here. There's some more details so that you can read about it. And it tells you drinking water generally, but the most of the world range is nothing more than 0.1 or 0.3. And it tells you here in the medical books, acute exposure. Signs of acute toxicity in animals include depression, ataxia, convulsions and death. But there's one thing you need to know. Kidney degeneration and testicular and ovarian atrophy. Now if you don't know what that means, there's a note from Wikipedia and it tells you what it is. But in lay talk, it's talking about the diminishing of a man's ability to have babies and a woman's ability to have babies. So if you want to know about how they're going to stop a lot of people from being born over the next 10-year period, you're looking at why there is over 4,000 times more boron in the atmosphere coming down on the earth as rainwater. But there's something else you've got to realise, this is also affecting every animal, every bird on the earth. And I wonder, how long are we going to allow this to happen? Now look at these pictures that you're looking on the screen. These are of planes spraying the poisons. These are the chemtrails and planes filled up with vats of poison. This is what they want you to say is not happening. These are the contrails, I will say. They're not chemtrails. These are natural clouds when they're not natural clouds. They are HAARP clouds. There's a plane, for example, that's got 2 only engines, but there's 3 sprays coming out the back of it. And when you see things like this, and we've made time-lapse films, and you see clouds staying dead in the sky whilst the cumulus clouds are moving along in the air current, you see clouds that are vertical, you see a mist or a type of fog up there in the sky. When you see that, you know that that is HAARP, H-A-A-R-P cloud. And when you see them add some chemtrail to it, and when you see that also spread right across the sky, you know that you are being poisoned. You know that this is white clouds of death. And there you're looking at it on the screen now. That is white clouds of death, and that is 45 minutes of filming cut back down to a few seconds. And you can see what it looks like if you take a time-lapse film. Send that to your politicians and say it's not happening. Show that to the people in government and say it's not happening. They are liars. Now, as it is with every country, every government has what you would call a joint standing committee that makes a decision as to whether we sign treaties. And these are the people that signed the treaty for Australia. Now, if you want to get rid of this treaty, the United Nations, these are the people that you have to notify. Now, it doesn't matter what country you live in, and it doesn't matter what government you belong to. I can tell you now that you, your family and your children are being poisoned. You've been duped. And also to the media, the same message. You people think that you're covering for your bosses. Well, I'll tell you something. Whilst you are failing in your duty to alert the public as to what's going on, you also and your family and your children are being poisoned by your boss. And you, the people that I'm putting on the screen now, ministers of the Crown, you have been duped. And do you think this is in the interest of national security to be poisoned yourself as well as poisoning the whole country? Well, that's all I can give you on this 10-minute film, but I urge you to collect the water no matter what country, no matter where you are in the world, and take that water to be tested to any independent laboratory, because we are all being poisoned by the New World Order.